The new parts have arrived from the factory without issue. They'll be fitted to the car in time for the next session.
Not long now until the lights go green for the Mexico Grand Prix qualifying. So let's get ready and see who has that pole position winning performance in them this afternoon. And I'm here, of course, with Anthony Davidson on what has turned out to be a very pleasant day indeed. No weather to interfere, no problems on the track, so absolutely no room for error.
Fantastic. That was the fastest lap. So far, our fastest lap is Sorry about that. Just wasn't our day.
So, unfortunately, we've picked up some grid penalties, and we'll be starting further back than you expect. As for how bad it is, that'll depend on what the other drivers get.
Formula One may have been absent from Mexico for 23 years, but after 2015's triumphant return, it was as if we'd never been away. In Mexico, a Grand Prix is more than just a race. It's a celebration of speed and of bravery. There's nothing quite like the atmosphere in the stadium today. They'll be drowning out the cars with their noise as they make their way through on lap 1. We're a long way above sea level here in Mexico today, which could pose some cooling issues for the cars as they make their way around this 2.6-mile lap. 17 corners with top speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour, and watch out for potential overtaking into turns 1 and 4. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk briefly about Sebastian Vettel. Everything's on the line here today, and the title hangs in the balance. So how do you think they'll be coping with all that pressure?
By trying not to think about the result too much. The worst thing you can do in this situation is think about all the what-ifs. What if I get hit going into turn 1? What if I get a penalty? What if I finish outside the points? If you let any of those kind of worries get to you, you can't focus on the job. So staying in the right mindset will be critical today.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Raikkonen, Daniel Ricciardo, and Vettel, Bottas, Perez, Leclerc, and Esteban Ocon, Grosjean, Magnussen, Marcus Ericsson, and Sirotkin, Stroll, Hartley, Pierre Gasly, and Fernando Alonso. They've taken a grid penalty, Van Dorn and Turner. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Only we're looking good from the start. Yellow flag. Tyres are 4 laps old. We think they've got one more stop. They have some kind of mechanical problem. The time last lap was a 1:22.6. Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track. Okay, we lost the position. Try to keep focus. Nice move. Good job. Try to stay with him, he might make a mistake. You could still regain the position. This is your final lap of the race. Less than a lap of fuel now. The tank is empty. Brilliant job, mate. That's a fantastic podium. Super driving, really strong pace. Very happy.
And Mercedes have pulled off a great victory here today. And Anthony Davidson, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
I think we'll chalk this one up to a deft touch on the brake pedal. That's allowed them to challenge down the inside into the braking zones, and ultimately, if you do that often enough, you end up winning the race. It was great to watch as well though, wasn't it? Forget strategy, forget tyre management. Who doesn't love a good old-fashioned scrap?
And here are our podium drop to that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes, then, are on top today. Then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Turner takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship. And now I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Turner. They pushed and found some fantastic performance. It was just a pleasure to watch.
And now let's take a look at the Constructors' standings. Mercedes have extended their lead at the top of the standings. Well, what a weekend that has been. Please.
Amazing performance out there. You must be really happy. Did you struggle to get through all that traffic today? Everything went your way today. It looked like you had a really good strategy for the race. You've taken the lead in the championship. Are you going to be able to keep up that momentum? Your team must be ecstatic with how you're performing. Great! Well, that's everything.
Just wanted to say congrats on the podium. It's thoroughly deserved. We were sweating those last few laps on the pit wall, but you brought it home.